so let's pour the Coca-Cola into this one. Naturally, it's going to fizz. Let's just see if that works. Hold on, let's just see if the finger thing works. Sort of, actually. I think that's going down quicker. We'll have to do that another day as a test. So back by popular demand, we're going to do more myth busting. There's plenty of videos I've been sent and tagged in to have a look at. So today we're going to cover 3 of them. There's a few that are quite interesting. We've got some kitchen hacks, some snack hacks, and also we'll be covering this myth as well, whether this is strong enough to actually remove rust off of metal. Obviously these days we see all sorts of videos making all sorts of claims, so it'd be good to finally get the answer, is it true or not? It'll be good to see if the science backs up what people claim in these videos, so we'll do some tests and find out for sure. So with that being said, let's get started with the first myth, but we'll come back to this one later. So the video doing the rounds at the moment is looking at a better way to cut garlic. Let's check out the video first before we try the myth. Right, let's see what I've got here. Okay.
The life hack that you randomly saw one day.
Garlic knife, as I said.
Standard practice.
So I'd use the back of the knife. Weird. That does look like it works pretty well. Right, so as we saw there, it's an extremely simple test. So all we're going to do is we'll get a garlic clove here from a little sachet. Just pop the garlic open like so. Fly them everywhere too. Okay. This one looks good. It's quite a nice garlic, this. See, there's nothing that's happened to it. What we'll do is we'll test it with a knife first. So we'll test it in 3 ways. We'll test it with a normal way you cut it with a knife, obviously on the sharp side. Then we'll test it with the back, and then we'll test it against the garlic peeler. And what I'll do is I'll show you all 3 next to each other so we can see whether it is actually better to use the back of it or it's just a complete waste of time. So let's set that up now. All right, so we've got our 3 cloves here to test. We'll start with the normal method. So obviously the normal method is you crush it a bit like so, and then you basically just cut it extremely fine. Like that. So this is the normal method. As fine as you need it, really. It works quite well, obviously. And then obviously you can kind of go across it if you want to make it even finer. Right. So that will do for now. So we'll put that to the side as our normal cut. So for our next method, we'll just chuck it into our crusher here. So you can see. So that works quite nicely. I think you're left with quite a lot of waste from this one, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't feel like... See, there's a lot in there. Obviously, we have our crushed garlic there. So we'll just take that off. So that's very fine, but I feel like we're left with a lot of waste. All of that garlic. I mean, you could put it all together. But yeah, no, I don't like the idea that we've got a bit of waste there. So put that to the side for the minute. So that doesn't look too bad. Again, I'll show you these all in a second. Right, so just like when we use the knife the other way, we'll give it a crush first, like so. So that's nice and crushed. And now we'll use the back of the knife to cut it. Let's just check I'm focused. Are we good? I think so, yeah. Okay, let's use the back. So again, we're using the dull side of the back of the knife to cut it. Yeah, it is kind of working. It's smushing it relatively nicely. That's not too bad, to be honest. So here are our 3 different ways we did our garlic. So we've got a normal knife method here. So it could be finer. We have more control. We could smush that up a little bit more if we wanted to. We've got the most fine out of the 3, which is our garlic press. So obviously that did the best job because it's kind of designed to do that. And finally, we've got the back of our knife. So I do have to say, if I pick between the normal knife and the back of the knife, just from how we've done it here, I'm going to pick the back of the knife. I do feel like it did quite a good job there. But I do feel like I could get the same results just by chopping this up finer on our knife blade. I've got way more control on the knife edge one here. I still think that the best method of this is using the sharp edge of the blade, because not only can you cut it really fine if you need to, but you can cut into bigger pieces or whatever you need, because you don't always need the same size of garlic depending on what you're cooking or how you're cooking it. I feel like the back is a quick method, but it's not much control. It's just sort of a little smushed, and it's not actually that fine in terms of the sort of piece quality. So I still think the sharp edge is the better method out of all of these, and many chefs, I believe, still just use the sharp side of the knife. They're certainly not using the handle. And I haven't personally seen people use the back as often, but maybe it's a very common thing. So let me know if you know different in the comments. Right, so as we mentioned, our next video involves looking at whether Coca-Cola can remove rust from metal. Let's check out the video and then I'll explain a little bit about this. Right, so let's have a look at this video. Okay, so he's got a rusty spanner and he pours the Coke on top of that. Wow, and it removes it all. Fair play. So what we're going to do to see how effective our Coca-Cola is we'll use this professional grade rust remover. Now what's quite interesting is if I have a look at the ingredients, right, the main ingredient that removes the rust in this is the phosphoric acid, where I'll find it here somewhere. Where's it gone? So it says, yeah, so the main ingredient in this, it says phosphoric acid. Now, what's quite interesting with that is this Coca-Cola, listing on its ingredients, also contains phosphoric acid, which is, it sounds quite scary, that, right? That sounds quite scary because it's like an acid, so strong. What they use it for in the Coca-Cola is as an acidity regulator. If you saw our last video, we looked at citric acid, which is in sort of the same family in terms of the sort of sour acids used in food. The difference obviously being the strength of the phosphoric acid in the Coca-Cola is way less than the strength of the phosphoric acid in that. This is like extremely strong phosphoric acid, so theoretically, this should work just by that fact alone, but let's see if it does. Right, so obviously we've got our 2 jars here. Let's put the one in there, and we'll put the professional stuff in there, or the Coca-Cola in there, and put the one in there, and do the opposite. Right, so let's do our Coca-Cola first. So let's pour the Coca-Cola into this one. Naturally, it's going to fizz. Let's just see if that works. Hold on, let's just see if the finger thing works. Sort of, actually. I think that's going down quicker. We'll have to do that another day as a test. Right, so we'll pour our professional stuff into here. So you have to pour water in first. Like so. Right, so let's pour this in. So again, this is our professional grade rust remover. So we'll pour in... Can't remember how much they said, but we'll try and just match the Coca-Cola volume-wise. Might have been slightly too much. But we shall see. Is it reacting at all? Let's give them both a little mix. So we'll leave these for a few hours, and what I'll probably have to do is post an update on them later. But I have these here, which I did the other week on a TikTok video, so I can show you what this looks like. This is the same exact experiment we did here. Right, so looking at that now, you can see that's the Coca-Cola one. You can see all the rust is still there. So that didn't work particularly well, I feel. And again, that might be because I left it in there too long. We'll see on the spanner when we take that out whether it's clean or not. But yeah, I don't think that worked particularly well. Maybe it's slightly better than it was, but it's not great. So the Coca-Cola one, nah, not so good. Now this is the problem. I made this solution way too strong. So you can see. So this is the one. Can you see? Look what it's done. I don't know if you can see that. But can you see? Oh, it smells really strong. Again, I want to be careful with this. Basically, it's completely deteriorated the drill bit. It's eaten the metal itself. Not only the acid. Can you see at the bottom there? It's split. I'm not going to touch this too much because I don't want to cut myself, but it's very brittle and it's got big gaps in it all over the place. And you can see the deposits at the top. It's so weird. It's like eaten away at the metal itself. So this is literally eaten through machine-grade steel or whatever this drill bit is made with, which is crazy. Like it's literally eaten all of the sort of stuff on the inside. It must be weaker on the inside for some reason on the drill bit. Yeah, so the rust is gone, but so is half the flipping drill bit. So that wasn't too good. Again, I made my solution way too strong. Let me just clean this up and make sure I'm not going to accidentally burn myself here. Right, so it's been about an hour, and I just wanted to show you the difference in these. So this is the Coca-Cola one, obviously. So that's what that looks like now. There's still quite a lot of rust on there. I think it is doing some work on the edges. Maybe. And let's have a look at the professional stuff. Now, what you'll notice is it's quite considerably different already. Just carefully put that to the side there. So that's the professional grade stuff. So you can see pretty much all the rust is gone already, and then we're left with sort of a black residue where the rust was. Now, I'm not sure 100% what that is, but maybe it's easier to clean off than the rust. We'll keep leaving it in there and we'll come back in a bit. Right, so for this last video, apparently you can just use these 2 ingredients to make Coca-Cola. Let's watch the video and see how they do it. Right, let's see how this works.
Okay, my Pilates instructor makes this drink almost like every day, I think she told me.
So the balsamic vinegar, obviously in the glass with the ice.
And I am not joking you, it tastes just like
right,
a
let's
Coke.
skip to the recipe.
Splash of balsamic vinegar.
Okay, balsamic vinegar.
And then take any sparkling beverage. Like I'm picking LaCroix, and it could be any flavor. This one's the guava. It's like the summer flavor.
Right, and you mix the 2 of them.
Okay. And now I'm gonna mix it together.
Well, it looks like Coca-Cola-ish. So to keep this very simple, we've got a lemon and lime sparkling water here, because I think in terms of its base ingredients, it's going to be as similar to what we can find in the Coca-Cola. So we'll pour that into there. Put a good amount. Right, and now let's put our balsamic vinegar in. We've got glaze here because I think this will work better. Let's just see. We'll put that much in, not too much. Give this a good mix with a mixing pencil. And then we'll fill this side with normal Coca-Cola, obviously what we're trying to make with this one. Right, let's do a blind taste test so we can see if it is similar at all. Right, these were mixed up, so I don't actually know which one is which now. We'll try this side first, whatever one this is. So where's the straw? Okay. Interesting. Very sweet. We'll try this side now. Give my verdict in a minute. Okay. Yeah, very different flavour over here. Let's just try that one again. It's much sharper here. They do taste... I gotta say, the tastes are parallel. They're not quite exactly the same. Right. It's much more vanilla tasting here. Whereas this side is a much more citrus punch to it. So what I can see now, that makes sense, to be honest. The flavour here, again, so the balsamic vinegar kind of acts as an almost caramel flavouring, which the original drink doesn't have in it. And so Coca-Cola has a sort of basis of caramel in it and vanilla, raisiny taste to it. So that's kind of what you're adding. And I saw with the trend, people are just adding way too much. You know, if I put a whole bunch in there, yeah, it's just going to taste like vinegar and it will taste really bad. But if you put a bit in, like this, it kind of has an almost caramel flavouring to it. In fact, the balsamic vinegar I used is quite expensive. So they say that it's caramel. They don't put extra caramel flavouring in because it already contains that sort of caramel-like flavour. That's not too bad. I'll give it like a 5 out of 10 in terms of closeness, but it's definitely parallel. That's pretty good. So super quickly before we finish, apparently you can make Dr. Pepper using Sprite and barbecue sauce. So let's try the Dr. Pepper again. Okay. Obviously they say there's 23 flavours or whatever they put in that. It's quite a complicated taste. So we've got a Sprite here. So you actually meant to use Sweet Baby Ray's, but they didn't have any. So I looked for one that had pretty much the same ingredients. So this barbecue sauce has relatively the same ingredients as the Sweet Baby Ray's, minus and plus a few here and there. So let's get some of that in. Right, and we'll just carefully give this a good mix. We'll have to open this very carefully, probably. We'll let that sit for a minute because I know it's going to fizz up. But in terms of the ingredients on our barbecue sauce, yeah, nothing here really makes me... There's a few things like spices they mention, and molasses. Those sorts of things are going to help in terms of flavouring it like the Dr. Pepper. But some of the other things just won't be good. Like the vinegar is not good for that. Onion, garlic, mustard seed. Mustard seed might be good. But yeah, there's a few things in there that definitely aren't going to help us really. Maybe very slightly smells like Dr. Pepper. Just in the terms of the sweetness with some of the spices and molasses in there. Let's try it. The rim is very much coated in the barbecue sauce. Let's try again. I would say in terms of closeness, we're looking at a 4 out of 10 maybe. The balsamic vinegar and sparkling water was definitely closer in terms of flavouring. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Try it yourself and let me know what you think. Right, so we saw some interesting hacks. Obviously, some of them working better than others. I think the best today was probably the Coca-Cola, just because I think it's quite interesting that it contains that phosphoric acid that can actually work as a rust remover, although it takes some time because it's very, very dilute. Also, let me know in the comments what sort of videos you want to see next. Always looking for cool new ideas. And also, if you want to see us develop anything we've done on any of our other social media accounts. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and a comment if you did. Subscribe for more content like that. I hope to see you next time. Very cool.